Welcome back to The Breakdown. Today we're taking a look at Google's efforts to make robots smarter, better, and more important, cheaper. Now, robots have been around for a while, originally as a fantasy, then a reality, especially in the world of manufacturing and some very basic uses. And recently, they're kind of going into everything from vacuuming your carpets to driving cars now. Robots are becoming an everyday fixture of our everyday life. I was in a Walmart not that long ago and a self-driving floor sweeper went down the aisle right next to me. Now that's basically a robot, and they're becoming everyday fixtures in our lives. Google wants to make them even better and, more importantly, cheaper and easier to use. So what does that mean? We're going to be breaking that all down and talking about the current state of robots and some big things happening in robots that will impact your everyday life. First though, if you're new here, do me a big favor. Help us grow this new channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. Hopefully we can help you learn something new because we do the research for you, break them down into easy to understand videos about a wide range of different topics like this one. So you don't have to do the research yourself. You can just watch these quick little videos where we break down some interesting things happening. So check that out, help us out, hopefully we can help you out. So Google has announced a joint collaborative effort to go out there and make robots even better. Now, robots have traditionally been something you think about with manufacturing, maybe in a warehouse, but they're really going everywhere. This big effort's heavily focusing on manufacturing right now, as it's combining efforts of many different companies, from car makers to widget makers to just everyday manufacturing with robots. Now, Google's coming in to kind of help them. The big problem with the robots has not been the actual manufacturer of the device. You think about a go-kart or a car driven by a human is not that much different than a go-kart or a car driven by a robot. The big difference comes down into the brains of it, the computer that's taking the information from different sensors, whether that be a camera or some type of radar, and making a decision on how to drive that vehicle, what to do next. And that's been the biggest problem. A car is a car. It really comes down to who's controlling it. And we can do a lot more than that. Different devices out there are very able to do it. Problem has been in the software in the brains of the device often to make them smart enough to safely do that kind of work. And Google is working with a whole bunch of manufacturers to make this possible. With the recent worker shortage, a lot of companies have decided to invest heavily into robotics, and the software being a big part of that. And this joint effort will allow multiple different companies to pool their resource money into Google to reap rewards from a joint effort into making robots smarter, easier to program, and more. And this is almost very similar to what Google did with Android, right? They created an OS that was very good. I know a lot of people figure what's better in OSs, but Android OS is a good OS that many phone manufacturers were able to take and manufacture. Roku's another good example of this. They made a very good TV system that made TV manufacturers do it. Now, Google wants to get in here and do it for robots. They want to be the Android of robots, where they can create an OS, a software program, and basically give it to robot manufacturers. And whether that's vacuuming your carpets or that is building your car, they don't care. But that removes some of the more difficult part. And it also works well because phone manufacturers and robot manufacturers don't make a lot of money after they sell the device. For them having to continuously do updates and patches isn't a very good move for them. And that's why Google can jump in here and allow them to be able to have them do a lot of the patching, a lot of the updating, much like with Android. That once your phone is manufactured, a lot of the back-end updates and more to Android actually happen with Google. Yes, I do know that's not a perfect example because Google does partner with people like Samsung and more to keep their phones updates and make updates there. But Google was hoping that this collaborative method will, like with Android, bring down the cost of OS development. It's the reason why many different devices out there are rarely using proprietary OSs and are often moving towards joint ones and open source ones because they're considerably cheaper. And when you can make the OS cheaper, you can make making robots cheaper. When we make robots cheaper, it means they can do things like fill in blank spots in a current worker shortage. And that's why places like car manufacturers and more are spending big to help Google design this software because they want more robots, because they're struggling to get humans to fill some of the slots. We can argue all day, is that because of worker conditions, pay, all kinds of things, but there is a worker shortage. And when that happens, companies start looking for other options. And that's where Google's kind of trying to capitalize right now. They're trying to capitalize on the fact that they can talk a lot of companies into giving them millions of dollars to do this research and to develop a better, smarter robot. We'll see. Now, Google's not alone. Many companies like Amazon is busy building their own robots. Word is that Amazon is reportedly trying to build a sub $2,000 robot that will do more than just vacuum your carpet for your home. Now, there's been a lot of talk, everything from this to just be a roaming echo that will follow you around the place for video calls and more, to maybe more of a personal assistant that could maybe even someday help take out the trash in some very aggressive ones. Big problem for Amazon is they want to keep the price under $2,000. Reportedly, that's been a struggle for the developers to create a device that can do enough things but keep it under $2,000. Now, if Google offers a great software where Amazon doesn't need to spend all the money programming the software themselves, maybe that's help. If you think about like the Fire tablets, that's basically a skinned version of Android. Wouldn't surprise me to see Google and Amazon once again have a similar relationship. We'll see how that works out. But robots are really moving into everyday world. From driving cars to vacuuming to manufacturing the goods that you do every day. And it seems like that's not going to slow down. And especially in the business manufacturing world, robots don't need breaks. Robots don't take vacations. And once you purchase a robot, they're not looking for bonuses or pay raises. And that's a big selling point. Now, that's a complicated issue for people like you and me who may want a manufacturing job like that. But for companies, it's increasingly becoming a must-do as workers are very hard to get a hold of right now. And we're seeing everywhere from fast food to grocery stores trying to move more heavily into robots to fill in vacant spots. Walmart's using them in everything from vacuuming to stock and more. And many fast food chains are trying to use them to speed up the production of food and make food production more consistent and more error-free. McDonald's, for example, is replacing drive-through cashiers with robots that will actually take your order through an AI system, much like Siri or Alexa. Now, this is an interesting move. We'll see how it plays out. It's been tested before. It was actually shown that using call centers were more effective for McDonald's than having humans in the store do it. The downside was when something broke, it caused a problem. Now, with new AI, instead of having to say, oops, we lost our internet connection, we lost our phone to the call center, they can actually have the AI sitting in the restaurant and not lose that ability to continue to take orders. And that is an interesting move. As we increasingly make openings, companies are increasingly looking for solutions like this to address those issues. I suspect that in the next 5 years, you're probably going to see a massive boom in AIs and robots filling in spots whenever possible at companies. It's getting to the point where it's actually now cost effective. We've been able to do this for a while, but the cost is the issue. Now, cost isn't perfect. Much like the Amazon example, Amazon hasn't quite been able to bring in a robot that's at a price point that make everyday living. But can you imagine a world where a robot sub $2,000 comes in? Suddenly you don't have to pay a house cleaner to do things like mop floors, vacuum, wipe down countertops, and more. You got Rosie the robot to do that, much like you saw in the Jetsons. So, well, I don't know. Leave me a comment what you think about it. What do you think about robot software turning into Android-powered robots? Much like we have Android-powered cars now with your stereo, Android-powered phones, tablets, and a whole lot more. Your next robot may be, or your next phone may be manufactured by a robot also running Android, or whatever they may call it. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of Google's plans. And if you're new here, do me a big favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. We'll be back with more videos real soon.